W's and L's, the weekly recap show where we give a L to the things that we do like and an L to the things that we don't.
Let's start out with let's do L's first. I got a longer list. Let's see. I am going to give a L to YouTube. I am so damn tired of PragerU ads. I don't know who y'all think I am. I am not becoming a Black conservative. Stop. Halt. I want nothing to do with Larry Elder. I have nothing to do with any of that shit going on at PragerU. Leave me alone. Kick me out the algorithm. I dislike every single one of those videos that you send me. Please stop sending them to me. Jesus Christ.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
The Google Fi YouTube ads, those are the worst.
Hello, on my new phone plan. Hello, Google Fi, that's a plan that can.
No, it's not. No, it's not giving.
Goodbye, phones that I can't get out of the contract. Hello, Google Fi with my new phone plan. Yeah.
It's like they think they're freecreditreport.com.
FREE, that spells free. Creditreport.com, baby.
Offer applies with enrollment and triple advantage.
But they're nowhere close. They're nowhere close.
I just hate that they're not skippable. Like after the 50th time of hearing it in one day, I want to be able to skip one of these hoes.
One of them.
Goddamn non-skippable Google Fi commercial. Shit. So I'm giving an L to Ohio State and Michigan fans alike for a shared concept of transient wins that we just need to do away with right now. Okay, I'm watching a bunch of previews. The Late Kick. I'm watching Voice of College Football, Johnny Oden, and then I'm getting the breakdowns. Everybody's picking them. Who's gonna win? All right. And so, of course, you peruse the comments to see what the Georgia fans are thinking about. To my surprise, whole shit ton of Buckeye fans. Georgia's going to do this. Ohio State will be right back in the playoffs next year after Michigan loses, blah, da, da, yada, yada. Georgia's going to do this. Georgia's going to do that. Blase skip. And I'm like, yo, y'all realize that even if Georgia wipe us off the map, which they came pretty close to doing, that doesn't change November 27th. On the other hand, after Michigan takes their horrendous loss to Georgia, what do I see in videos previewing the Rose Bowl? Utah, Utes gonna blah, 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 Ohio State. And I'm like, no. Stop. Ohio State losing tomorrow doesn't give you a win. No more than Michigan losing to Georgia gives Ohio State a win. That's not how it happens. It's not how it works, y'all. Like there is mental there's mental disease in that where you lose. So now you look at other people to lose to make you feel better. I've been guilty of that. I have. I want to call a truce because it's sick, right? Like there's nothing healthy about it. Let's all collectively just decide to leave that place behind in 2021 and not do that shit anymore. Because it's sad. It honestly is sad, right? When you are so sad that you have to cope with the loss of your bitter rival, it's just, you know what? Let's just decide that neither one of us are going to do that shit anymore. Because it just looks ugly on both of us.
The common thread between those two is that both of them suffered a loss prior to doing what they did.
Yeah. Which makes it gross. Like, come on, man. Let's not do that. Let's just not do that. We lost to Georgia. If Ohio State beats the shit out of Utah, or if they get beat the shit out of by Utah, that's not going to change the situation for us. So who cares? Root for the Big Ten team and move the fuck on next year. So I was struggling a little bit as to where to place old Bruce Arians here. I didn't know whether or not to give him an L for his lack of professionalism and his lack of self-control, or to give him a dub for beating the odds in the face of that because of what Antonio Brown did, and now he seems like he's going to get off scot-free for spending the boss's money for him. I think I'm going to land on L because I'm a little bit more disgusted with the way that this was handled than I am impressed with the way that he got out of it. So I'm going to give him an L. Again, a head coach in most situations does not have the power unilaterally, at least not during the season, let alone during a game, to fire a player, to cut a player. There are too many financial implications that come along with that for a head coach to have that amount of power, because the head coach is going to get tired with a player much faster than the general manager and owner is, right? And we're talking about millions of dollars being spent here. So I refuse to believe that Bruce Arians has the green light to fire a player like that, let alone a player who's claiming not to be healthy. Like, we're getting into some real muddy waters here now. So you're telling me that you were prepared to force a player to play when he's telling you that he's not ready to play? We're not Ben Simmons in this situation, right? Like, Antonio Brown has actually been hurt, to my understanding. I don't watch NFL football, but I know he's been hurt. He's been injured. He's been out. Even if you got the okay from your team doctors, right? You know that's not the end all be all. You know that. You've been in the NFL. You've dealt with wide receivers. You've dealt with divas. You've dealt with NFL players in general. Your team doctor don't say whether or not the player is on the field or not. Not unilaterally. Like, the level of expectation for you to just tell him to go play when he's telling you, like, hey, look, I don't feel like I'm ready to play. And even if you felt like that rose to a level of firing, since when do you have the juice to just do it right there on the field? Since when? Since when? Like, I want to be very clear. I was very critical of Antonio Brown in the video that we made for him specifically, because I felt like he's a grown-ass man and he deserves some personal responsibility for the decisions that he made on Sunday. But Bruce Arians? No, you're not getting off scot-free, bro. You don't have that authority. Coaches cut players in the summer during training camp. Outside of that, that's an upstairs decision, boy. Coach the game. Coach the game. But you know what you did? You lost track of your emotions too. You lost track of your resolve, right? You lost your frame. You let Antonio Brown get you in such a tizzy that you made a career jeopardizing move. Who knows how this would have played out if Antonio Brown would act like he had some sense. If Antonio Brown would have just walked his ass off that field and not did all the extra stuff to bring attention to himself, he would have been able to sit down at the podium after the game and say, so y'all allow NFL coaches to cut players in the middle of the game? Is that what I am to believe? Am I to believe that an NFL coach has the authority to fire me in the middle of an NFL game right here on the field? Is that what I'm to believe? Also, don't know if he just believes in his rap career that much. I probably should have mentioned this in his video, but how else were you supposed to get hired, fam? Who else was going to pick you up after you did that?
No, this is supposed to be his last chance. Like, Tom Brady put in the word to get him in there. It's supposed to be his last chance. It's supposed to be it.
Like, fam, even like, okay, so if you didn't want to play football, then that's kind of the problem, isn't it? Like if you, after that point, if you didn't want to play, fuck it, I'm not playing football ever again. I don't care. That at least a little bit of the problem, right? There's probably a little bit of the issue. But if you do still want to play football, how did anything you did on Sunday help you play football again? Like, just because Bruce Arians don't want you on the team doesn't necessarily mean that you're never going to get another job. Now, taking your shirt off, taking off your shoulder pads, throwing things into the stands as you walk through the end zone to the locker room, that is the closest thing you can get to making sure you never work in this league again. But hey, then again, they'll always take a guy like Antonio Brown over a guy like Kaepernick, right? So he still has a chance from that standpoint.
Well, that's a fact. That is a fact.
From that standpoint. I don't know, man. I'm trying not to lean in on Antonio too much, but I just feel like everybody is so ready to wash him of his sins. Everybody is so ready to just stamp mental illness on his forehead and move on and not do anything else. Not do anything else. That's kind of what this thing has become, this whole discussion around mental health. It's become very superficial. It's become very trivial. Yeah, thank you. Very trivialized. It's all surface level shit. Somebody's doing something outrageous, well, they must have a problem. right? Like it's no, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like there's a barometer to this thing. It feels like if you like somebody enough, you'll stick it on them, and they're better for it somehow because, I don't know, it's out in the open and we're talking about it.
Despite getting them the help they need.
Yeah, they don't have to talk about it. He doesn't have to get help. He doesn't have to acknowledge that he has a problem. We'll do it for him. I just don't know if I like it working that way. It's just me. My one dub this week is going out to Twitter for banning Taylor Greene's ass from Twitter permanently. Got booted. Yep, for I think she was talking about COVID vaccine deaths. Talking about how the media wasn't covering COVID vaccine deaths, spreading misinformation. Right, typical her.
That'll do it.
I do find it a little funny though that some of these voices on YouTube are allowed to get away with some of the shit they get away with, and Marjorie Taylor Greene gets, a permanent ban, because there haven't been too many of those. So I'm just saying that's the bar. You're letting a lot slide. You're letting a lot of motherfuckers limbo here. That's it.
Bet. I'm gonna give a dub to Utah because they played a hell of a game. And as great of an opponent as we've seen pretty much all year. But I also got to give a dub to that Rose Bowl logo. I want a fucking hoodie with that Rose Bowl logo.
With the rose into the uniforms.
Fire.
I think both of the uniforms was hard too, honestly, with the roses woven into it. The Rose Bowl is dope, man. Like, if there is one bowl that is probably still going to be coveted even in the washed down kind of bowl era, it's the Rose Bowl. Is because of all the pageantry that comes along with it, the parade, all of that. It's like the stadium that's dedicated to playing this game and this game only every year. It's a lot of history in there, especially coming from Big Ten country. The teams that we've sent out there from all different types of schools, right? Northwestern has made it to a Rose Bowl. Illinois has made it to a Rose Bowl. Like, it's a very historic site. So yeah, shout out to Utah.
I'll give you one thing that sucks about the Rose Bowl is that USC has 27 wins in the Rose Bowl, and then it's a firm drop for anybody from there.
That just means that the Pac-12 fucking sucks.
That's a fact.
The Pac-12 just sucks. Like,
I think you guys have 8 wins. I think we have 8 wins, and then it's a drop from there.
The Rose Bowl is basically USC versus. Like, let's just be honest. That is what it has been historically. Now that has changed since the days of Pete Carroll, or any real relevant USC football. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me, because who else out of the Pac-12 is beating a Big Ten team consistently?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. So,
on to my L's. First, I want to give an L to Ice Cube haters. Faison
like
Love,
actual Ice Cubes or like the rapper?
No, the rapper.
Got
That'd be nuts if I gave an L to people who hate Ice Cubes. Could be a thing. Anyway, so it came out that Faison Love, who played Big Worm in the original Friday, was only paid about $800, I believe, for his role in Friday, which, if you're aware of the first Friday, if you're aware of the first Friday, I think there was like a $2 million budget. Mm-hmm. And so Faison Love wasn't even in the movie that much. Like, Big Worm
maybe like 5 minutes scenes total. Yeah, like 5 minutes overall.
So like, you drive up the street and you say something, and then you drive back down the street a couple hours later in the movie. That's it. That's all you did.
And honestly, I'm trying to think what came first. Was it Money Talks or was it Friday?
I think Money Talks came after, but I think they were shot around the same time.
Yeah, so like, I mean, Faison, man, come on, bro. What were you doing at that time? Where you were at? Maybe be excited for the opportunity to be in this movie with all these stars. I mean, did Faison Love come out and complain about it, or was it just somebody looked it up?
No, I think it was Faison Love actually said something about it.
Yeah, you gotta chill.
Which Faison Love has been making headlines for saying some crazy shit lately, so this isn't the only thing.
Yeah, I think the bigger L's gotta go to goddamn Chris Tucker, boy, because man,
Well,
I am utterly disgusted with Chris Tucker at this point.
I think it came out that he was offered, I think it was 12 million to do
$12 million
the next Friday, but because he didn't want to cuss, he didn't want to be in the movie smoking weed.
Marvel, they offered you Marvel MCU money, bro, for one appearance. That's Marvel MCU money. Like I think at the very height, Robert Downey and Chris Evans was getting 20 a pop. Right? That's what Scarlett just sued for, was 20. So you're not far off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you in the bucket, you in the range. And then for you to have gone on and made the movies that you did make, like, did you not cuss in Rush Hour 2 or 3? Were you not in there with Lou dressing women in both movies? Like, I'm trying to figure out where all this religious stuff is coming into play, because it just didn't seem like an issue in Rush Hour for some reason. You can make 3 movies with Jackie Chan with cursing, fighting, and sexual content, but you can't make Friday. And again, this is prerogative. He don't have to take doesn't have to take a role, but it just seems like there was a lot of excuses for Chris Tucker. Like he didn't want to be hated for not coming back, but he also just didn't want to man up and just say, I didn't want to come back. That's all it was. Like, I just feel like he probably fell out of love with the genre of movies that he was making. Even in films that didn't necessarily have that setup or that setting, he was playing the same character. Like, think about The Fifth Element or anything. You can't take $12 million to cuss and be in Friday, but you can basically be a woman in Fifth Element. And how does that align with your religion? And I'm not talking about nobody specific. Please don't hop in our comments and say that I'm bashing him for, whatever. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about religious restrictions keeping you from taking on a role, it's just unfortunate, man. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like to hear that, because I like Chris Tucker, but that has always been a thing for me. It just seems like, if I'm being honest, it just got a little too black for Chris Tucker, is what it sounds like.
No, for sure. The problem comes in when, Faison Love made his initial accusation. And so people started basically accusing Ice Cube of robbing the actors. And it's just like,
the first Friday didn't make a lot of money. There was no money to be given. He wrote and produced and directed that movie by himself. Like, y'all don't even understand what he had to do at New Line to get that joint off the ground in the first place. Y'all lucky New Line picked it up for all y'all black asses to shoot in the first place.
Facts.
With all of these unknown actors.
It didn't become what it became until we all supported it. But
John
while they were
Witherspoon,
filming it,
Regina King was still fresh off the presses at that point in time.
Bernie Mac,
Debo, so many actors, man, like that were able to spread their wings off of that movie. And please do not get it twisted. Chris Tucker's jump off is Friday. He don't get Fifth Element. He doesn't get
Silver
Linings Playbook. Yes. He doesn't get those roles without Friday. Stop the cap. Friday is Chris Tucker. Friday and Rush Hour are his 2 most iconic roles. Friday came first. He owes Ice Cube and Friday a great deal, in my estimation.
For sure. I'm going to give another L to everybody, because we lost Betty White over the weekend. So definitely got to say RIP to Betty White, man. It just sucks that, she passed before her 100th birthday, which was coming up. So, definitely want to say RIP to Betty White for just everything, man. Just being an icon.
I'm about to delete Twitter off my phone, because between this weekend, between Ray's tweeting about recast T'Challa and actually seeing people get mad that people were mourning Betty White, I just couldn't take it. Like, all the Hotep intellectuals hopped in and said, "Oh, so y'all really watch Golden Girls? So y'all really love Betty White that much, huh?
Gosh.
So y'all really about to sit up here and praise Betty White like she wasn't calling y'all grandparents nigger." Like, it's such a lazy It's such a lazy thing to do, especially because you probably praise a whole bunch of celebrities that you don't take the time to look up to see that they're probably bigoted or racist or have bigoted and racist past. But yet you will erroneously throw that on to Betty White because she's old and white. Because that's the only type of confirmation you need on Twitter. Is she old? Is she white? She must be racist.
I'm
You know
so
what
glad I
I'm
didn't
saying?
see that. I'm so glad I didn't see it.
It is diminishing our level of literacy in this country. It honestly is. People are unable to comprehend words now. Like honestly, I had somebody tell me that dead and exiled mean the same thing on Saturday. I swear to God, I can pull up the tweet right now. They talking about T'Challa. They're talking about the Doom War storyline where T'Challa is incapacitated by Dr. Doom and Shuri becomes Black Panther for a brief moment, right? And so the guy's talking, he's like, yeah, there's already Marvel canon where T'Challa does die, all capital letters in the does, right? Because he's very sure of himself. Capital letters. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't think you really read these comic books because that didn't happen. And that's not how that works. So I explained to him what actually happened, and he's like, "Oh, well, obviously, I got that from a source that was incorrect." But I mean, for all intents and purposes, dead and banished are pretty much the same thing. I'm just like, wait, what?
No.
What the fuck are you? What? What is happening right now? Dead and banished are the same thing, fam. Okay, he's like, yeah, in terms of recasting, it's the same thing. I was just like, woof. But and you know what? Coming from the standpoint of where I'm coming from with this whole thing, of people don't really, Black Death doesn't really hit you the way that it used to. It probably is the same thing to him. Forgotten or dead. What's the difference?
Mm.
What's the difference? If I don't see you, I don't see you. You don't exist.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yikes.
man. I think we need to we just might need to blow up the Twitter headquarters, bro. Because it's just, I think they are actively making us stupider.
I got one Black Panther related toss up. So Black Panther 2 soundtrack apparently is going to include the likes of.
Go ahead. I guess I've already seen it. Go ahead.
I'm not going to lead with that first name.
No, do it. Do it.
Nope. I'm going to end with it. The Weeknd, Stormzy.
Oh, I like Stormzy.
And Doja Cat.
This movie. This fucking movie is cursed. It's cursed. It is cursed. Although, all right, the Taco Bell commercial with the chick with the ram horns, and she got a sealed in the storm, and she sees a guy in the subway that she likes, but then she runs into the trash can, and she's so embarrassed that she runs to Taco Bell. Commercial means it makes no fucking sense. But the song that's playing on that as it's going out, is that Doja Cat? I just gotta go, get into it, yeah. I just gotta go, get into it, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. If that's Doja Cat, I like that song. If that's Doja, I'll fuck with that song. I do. I cannot lie.
Doja Cat has some songs that I like, but I don't want to hear her on a Black Panther
soundtrack. Hey, here's an idea. What if, and this is crazy, right? It's a little crazy, but I think it can work. So just hear me out. What if not even half, let's just say maybe 2 or 3 of the artists on an African nation soundtrack, right? Because that's what this is for, Wakanda forever. How about we get some African artists?
I mean, you did it for The Lion King.
For the movie, that was Beyonce. That wasn't Disney. Beyonce strong-armed them into doing that shit. I can tell.
But I thought it was a soundtrack.
She probably had to. Right, but who do you think had the strongest influence on getting those acts? Because they basically gave her the entire soundtrack. It was her. It was her album.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I know she had to force her way. And if they had to convince Nate Moore and Feige not to give Wakandans British accents in Black Panther, absolutely Beyonce had to shove all them African artists down their throat. Absolutely. You're going to have a movie about an African nation and the soundtrack to it ain't going to have no African artists? Not a one? Not one? Well, let me take that back because we're all African. But
plus the first
African
one
natives. African natives.
Fair enough.
Yeah. See, you got away with the first one because Kendrick and SZA tore that shit up. But how about we start getting a little bit more representative, you know?
Here's a thought.
Just a little bit.
How about we bring back Kendrick for the second soundtrack?
That would have been the easiest thing to do. Would have been the easiest thing to do. But I'm a little bit more inclined to say, like, just in terms, we keep talking about this representation thing, like, it feels as though sometimes people overthink it. So you overthink it, man. It's just match. Play the matching game. African movie, African artist. You seem to have done pretty well with the cast. I don't know. Just my thought, you know.
There's plenty of Nigerian artists out there like Wizkid, Tim's. Plenty of them out there. Burna Boy.
Where is Stormzy from? London?
The UK, I think.
He's okay.
He's from UK.
I mean, it's close, right?
Somewhat.
Close enough. I'll just swap them out.
Any other dubs, L's, toss-ups?
That's it for me, man. Give us your dubs and nails in the comments below. Tell us what you won at, what you lost at, who you got winning and losing this week coming up.
And make sure you check out our playlist to the left with all of our previous W's and L's. And make sure you subscribe. We do this every Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe. Check us out every Wednesday and see what we got for our dubs and L's.
Deuces.